Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to Friday's edition of Spilled Milk, otherwise known as the Ask Me Anything edition. I am just thrilled at the way the questions have gone for the last couple weeks. This is really fun for me, so thank you. I love doing this, and the questions are the types of things that people generically ask them when I'm stuck in an elevator with them. And which is to say they're provocative and smart. I am on Substack Notes. Okay, so chime in there, follow, engage. It's a great place for our community to chat with each other. There are a lot of cool people who are also on Notes who you may not want to subscribe to their Substack. However, they're on Notes and they're just extremely funny, and offer up a lot of cool ideas. And I'm kind of finding for myself that Notes is starting to do for me what Twitter used to, which is just be an amusing place to check in a couple times a day and see what cool people are thinking and saying. So there's a shameless plug for Notes, from which I have no financial remuneration. But it's cool. All right, on to the questions. From James, I'm a new subscriber to the newsletter. Perhaps you've previously answered this question. Thoroughly enjoyed every season, every episode of Family Dinner. It's authentic and true Americana. Thank you, by the way. 2 days ago, it was announced that Family Dinner is nominated for an Emmy, Daytime Emmy. And I was nominated for Best Host in a series for the Daytime Emmy in our category. So congratulations to Intuitive Content and everybody who makes that show. TV's a team sport. And while I'm the quote-unquote face of the show, everyone deserves a piece of that pie. Anyway, James continues. We also enjoyed the one episode of Family Restaurant. Will there be more episodes coming of Family Restaurant? There should be. And when I say should, I mean I want there to be. I think Family Restaurant could also be broken up into smaller stories about, with several different family restaurants in each episode. Or we could focus on one. And I would encourage you, if you liked Family Dinner or Family Restaurant, let the people at Magnolia know that you want more of it. It's that simple. Tinmid. That could be a typo. My apologies. If your culinary endeavors fell flat, what would you otherwise have been doing? Teaching history or art history, or I'd be in politics. What was the influence of chance, luck, kismet on where you are now? Oh my God, everything. I knew I always wanted to be in food. I put myself in a position to be successful, but then I squandered everything that I had worked hard for, and became a drug-addled alcoholic mess. Cratered my life. Abandoned everything that was reasonable in my world, and just wanted everything to end. I wound up in Minnesota, got sober, stayed sober. That was 31 and a half years ago. And at the time in which I left restaurant, oh, the dogs are going nuts. At the time in which I left restaurants, I just on a lark started doing food media. I accurately saw, hey, quiet. It's like a deer outside or something. I accurately saw, this is crazy. They're terrible dogs, terrible. I accurately pinpointed that these doors were closing, and eventually getting into food media would be tough. And I became successful doing other people's shows, and then started pushing my own tape around. But when we started Bizarre Foods, it was probably going to be, the audience just couldn't find it at where it was on Travel Channel. We had a lot of issues with the ratings the first 3 episodes, and then I think it was episode number 4. Episode number 4 was the Ecuador episode, and the shaman beat me with a guinea pig until it was dead, and he performed an exorcism on me and hit me with branches, and I broke out in hives all over the place, and it was just outrageous. And 3 days later, I was on the Tonight Show, and with Jay Leno, and he showed clips and said he loved it, invited me back. I wound up doing the Tonight Show a bunch that year and in subsequent years, and it just put the show through the roof. And I mean, if that isn't pure dumb luck, I don't know what is. Jared, love seeing you as a judge on TOC, Tournament of Champions. Thank you. I love doing that show. Would love to hear if there's any differences in how you approach judging on there versus Iron Chef. Oh my God, the night and day. And here's the reason. On Iron Chef, you are watching them cook. You know who's made the food. So you're seeing people's mistakes. You're seeing them resolve those mistakes. You're making judgments along the way that you can't help but make. You notice things while they're cooking that are radically different. And most importantly, you know that Chef A made blank and Chef B made blank. On Tournament of Champions, you have literally no idea. They keep us in our trailers. If you want to come out, you have to be escorted. So, like, if you have to, go to craft services and get a hot chocolate or something, they don't even want you to know what cooks are in the competition, let alone whose food it is. So when we are quickly walked from our trailer, the food is hot. It happened right after they're done with the cook. We are literally waiting in a hallway outside. Chefs leave one way, we come in, food is put down, hot, and we eat it. And we don't know whose it is. And yes, the judges, we do play a little game where it's like, who do you think that is? Because you can sort of tell styles and guess, and who's sort of in the world of Tournament of Champions. So, one of the episodes I did this year, it was very obvious to me that Manit Chauhan had done one of the dishes that we had that had a vegetable pakora and some other elements in it, because I knew that she had, I knew that she obviously would have been invited back after her success the previous year. George Brown, we are young farmers. We aim to someday provide chicken, game bird, and waterfowl to chefs. How can we do this with skill and professionalism? Wow, George, how long do you have? First of all, huge applause for doing the work that other people don't want to. We need more farmers in America. First thing I would do is work hand in hand with a processor. Really become good friends with your local processor, and I hope they're really nearby your farm. Second thing, start talking to chefs now, wherever you are located. Talk to them about what they'd like their chicken to be like. Mouthfeel, skin texture, fat content, size. Same thing with the game birds, same things with your duck and geese. Do a lot of talking and a lot of question asking and a lot of listening, because if you do those two things with your processor and with chefs, your product will be exactly what you need it to be via your processor, so that it's easy on you and works financially, and you will be in lockstep with what your local market wants. I'm very, very impressed at your fortitude by starting that kind of business. I applaud you, and please, there's lots of companies who do that kind of thing that reach out to us and say, hey, here, we've got a question, whatever, so hit me up. Happy to help if I can. Jody is heading to Scotland this summer for the first time. She's being challenged by a family member to try haggis. Should I? And any recommendations on where? Do it in a good restaurant that serves it. You don't want to be in a place where people aren't ordering it. You don't want to buy a commercial product from a butcher unless they're making it from scratch. But unless you're living somewhere, you're not going to be able to boil it or roast it. Haggis is delicious. It's pinhead oats. Good haggis makers are toasting them and seasoning them and putting lots of onion and ground vegetable in, along with all the offal that's been ground and seasoned, and it makes an incredible pudding inside the stomach, and that's just the vessel to cook it in. It's very clean. I love the stuff over there. And when I'm in Scotland, I have it at least once a day. I just adore a good one, and I've been very lucky. So if you are in Edinburgh, there are restaurants there. A lot of them in the cool weather months have it on their menus. So by all means try it. But the various pubs and more casual places have it year round. So talk to the concierge at your hotel about a place that actually is cooking for locals, not for tourists, and go there and try the haggis. I think you'll be really amazed. A note from my editor. I didn't even read that far down. My editor said to me, his wife is from Edinburgh, and he can offer 2 recommendations. Well, he just said what I said. McSween, yes, that's makes terrific haggis that's easy to find all over Scotland. That's correct. Better yet, find a good butcher like William Christie's in Edinburgh, in the Brunsfield neighborhood. I actually shot TV there at Christie's, so yes, they'll sell you good and tell you how to cook it after making fun of you for a little while. That's very true. They make a lot of fun of people buying it. However, you have to find a place to cook it. So if you're in like a B&B bed and breakfast, or an Airbnb that has a kitchen, by all means you can go ahead and do that. But again, a good restaurant haggis experience is great. Nicely done. I'm going to leave my editor's anonymity. It's up to him to declare himself my editor. By the way, a note on that: everyone needs a good editor. In life, as your life partner, in a restaurant, a great chef needs a great business partner. I mean, a great restaurateur needs a great chef. A writer, media person needs a whole bunch of people around them to tell them what's good or not. So I'm very lucky. My editors are fantastic, and you know who you are. Josh writes, a tech-based question for you. What do you think apps like ChatGPT or AI, etc., will play on the restaurateur side, recipe creation, menu development, sourcing based on the guest side, determining which unpopular restaurants and menu items might be worth trying based on each person's individual taste? AI is going to completely remake our world. It already is. AI helps your questions come in. It helps me record these on my iPhone. AI is, we use it all the time. My car does it. My phone does it when it recommends, TV shows for me. I mean, it's already at work. I have been playing around with several different apps that I actually really love. One that does research for me faster than Google and more reliably. And then I have been playing around with some of the creative apps to see, for example, right, like my mussels marinere, like a recipe that I make that I just think is perfect, right? Wouldn't change a thing. And, I'll ask the app for a recipe, and 7 seconds later it gives me one that's almost identical, and I'm like, wow, that's impressive. And then I've done it with like my black bean spare ribs and my lasagna, other things that I make that, again, I've been making forever, love them, think that they're super tight, and I tested out, and the AI really does a great job. So for someone who's not a regular cook, if you're looking for a lasagna recipe, do you go on Google, and you might be getting one that works or doesn't work, or do you go on an AI platform or app and ask it for one because it will work? It's, put it this way, any behavioralist will tell you that the number one indicator of trust or change is how much you trust the person doing the convincing, the talking to you, right? So for people who are like, oh, it's just a robot, right? I mean, maybe it's not going to work. But for those that are open-minded and believe in progress, it is going to work. Pamela writes, do you honestly love durian? No, I honestly dislike durian. I've tried it 50 times. I just don't care for it. Susie writes, ramp and wild morel season is right in front of us. Well, it's already in the mid-Atlantic states. I'm waiting literally right outside that, where those trees are, just over that tree line, is a bank that leads down to a little body of water. It's facing in the right direction. And it is, I mean, the dog's, Luca, when he was a puppy, pulled me over. I'd never bothered to even look down that little hill. And it's on my property, and it is more ramps than I could collect in a year's time. It's just a giant hill of ramps, and I'm so excited. I collected them last year. I can't wait to do the same thing this year. Anyway, Susie says, I love to forage for both. I make and keep ramp butter. I'm going to pickle some this year. What's your favorite way to use morels? Do you forage? I do forage. I love morels. I like to clean them, saute them, and serve them over toast with brown butter and chives. I make pasta with morels. I love them. I'll saute them and just serve them with a grilled piece of meat. I mean, the simpler, to me, the better. They have a great flavor and texture. Ramps, dehydrate them and grind them into a powder. And you can use that ramp to make sauces, butters. You can use them for things all year long. I do like pickling them, but then they're already pickled, and as much as I love them, and I use them instead of pickled onions on tacos and stuff, I love dehydrating them, put them in my dehydrator. Lisa writes about my comments last week about Willie Nelson. So you lean towards the Highwaymen collaboration. Yes, I do, because I think that sort of, outlaw country vibe that they basically kickstarted led to a lot of alt country stuff, and Chris Christopherson and Johnny Cash. I like them more than I like Waylon and Willie. Please don't at me. It's just I said I like them more than. That's why there's chocolate and vanilla. Evie writes, my dear Andrew. I knew someone was going to do this. I knew that it was a mistake when I said, anyway. Evie, my dear Andrew, if you give a $2.50 tip when you buy a $2.50 coffee, that is 100% tip, not 50%, not 200%. And I was going between the two. But it doesn't matter. You're an excellent chef. Thank you. I appreciate that, and clearly not a great mathematician. Anyway, please tell your friends to subscribe to Spilled Milk. We really would love it. It does keep the lights on and allows me to do a lot of things that we do with this this awesome, what would you call it? Media outlet. It's called a media outlet. We love it, so thank you.